Hey guys, I'm back with another video and this is going to be continuation of our Blazing blog app using Blazor server, a blog application using Blazor server. So in previous video we have achieved manage categories section, category list and add and edit category. So before continuing on this one, I would recommend you all to check out all the previous parts. I'm going to drop the links of all previous parts in the description box. So please do check those out before continuing on this one. So you'll be in sync what I'm doing. So far what we have done, we have this app, we are already logged in, we achieved authentication already, manage categories. We worked on this manage categories in previous videos. We have this category list, we have add new categories dialog pop up, we have added categories section as well, so everything is working. Now in this video we will work on this manage blocks page. Right now, sorry, there is nothing on this address because there is nothing, we have not created this page, this route. So let's continue. First thing, we'll create this page. So for that, let's go to our pages folder, admin folder, and here we'll create a new page, new razor component, and we'll call this, let's say, manage block. Cool. On this manage block, first thing we need to set the page attribute for a route, and the route is admin manage blogs, right? We saw in the URL, or we can verify in shared top navbar, we have this admin slash manage blogs, this thing. So admin slash manage blogs. Okay, now let's do the same thing we did in manage categories. So we'll have this container and everything like this till here, till this HR tag. Okay, and then we'll have one div for this container. Okay, we don't need this right now, we'll add it later. Add new blog post, and here we'll say manage post. Cool, manage posts and save it. Let's see if we can see anything, or we need to, yeah, we can see this admin manage blog. So we have this manage post, add new blog post. Fine, now we need to have the table here. We know we don't have any data yet, but let's design that. So we'll follow the same thing we followed in manage categories. So we'll use this table. Okay, so we will have a table class table, and then in t head we are going to have table row, then th serial number, id, title, then let's say category, then we'll say created and modified date. So let's use created, modified, and then is it published or not. So published, list, and then we'll have one extra column without header, which will be basically for actions. Okay, now after this we'll have t body, which is tables body. Now we need to have a collection of blocks here, so we'll have a private property here, private variable, basically private enumerable of our blog post object. Okay, we can have DTO kind of thing, or VM, we can say view model in this case. So it's up to you what you are using. I'm using the same entity type. We'll say, let's say posts, and we'll have default value null, which is default. So we'll have it null label, and we'll have a private bool is loading or is busy. Let's say is loading, and which will be default false. Cool. So after that, we'll override on initialized async method, and then we'll get these posts from the server. First thing we need to set is loading to true. Then we'll have, let's say, a try catch block here, and in this try block we will load our blog posts from the server. So load blog posts from blog service, let's say blog service, and after that, if everything is fine, we'll say is loading, or let's say have this set in the finally block. So in finally we will set is loading to again false. For now, let's have artificial delay. So we'll say await task dot delay, and let's say a delay of 3 seconds. Cool. Here we are setting this. So after this delay, we'll say posts equals. For now, let's have enumerable dot empty blog post, and fine. Now let's use this. So now let's have it in edit state only. Here we'll check in this t body. First thing we will check if this is loading is true. That means we are loading the data. We don't have anything yet. So we'll say tr, and in tr on this td we will have a call span. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 columns. So we'll use call span 7, and here we'll say loading blog posts. Okay, now if this is not the case, then we'll check loading is done, or let's say have it explicit is loading is done, and the data, this underscore posts, if it is still null, or let's say underscore posts dot any if it does not have any data, and these two ors will be like this, or we could say, yeah, let's have it like this only. So loading is done and we still don't have any data in posts, we don't have any record, or the post is null. Then we'll do similar thing, but this time we know that we do not have any blog posts. So we'll say no posts found, found, found. Okay, no posts found. Then after this we'll have the last case, and in here we know loading is already done and post is not null and post had some data. That means we got our blog post. Now we'll construct our table. So for that we'll use simple for each loop where post in underscore posts, and here we'll have our main tr, and then we'll use a td. So first thing we need to have that serial number. So int, let's say serial number default start with 1, and here we could say sno plus plus. So display this and then increment it. Then the second column, it is TD. The second column is ID. So we'll say post.id, and let me copy it a couple times. After ID, we have our title. After title, we have our category name. So category name. Do we have category name? No, we don't have this category name. So for now, the type of category is this category. So we can have category name like this, or we can have one computed not mapped property here. So we'll say prop string category name, which will be a computed property. We'll get this from category dot name, and we'll say not mapped because we don't want it to map from the database, because this property directly does not exist and we don't need to track it, we don't need to use it from database side. It is a kind of in-memory property only, computed property. Okay, so we have this category name, we'll use this here, category name. Okay, and after category name we have created and modified. So for that, let's have some condition here. First we'll say modified, or we can same thing, created or modified. If it is modified, we'll say post dot modified on, which is a nullable if it had some value. If it has some value, then we'll display that value only. Post, let's say, let's have parentheses here. If that's the case, we'll display post dot modified dot value dot, let's change it to, let's say, to short date string. Fine. If this is not the case, if we don't have modified, if this blog post was not modified, then we'll use created on dot to short date string. Fine. So created, this is not nullable, so it will always have a value. For modified, we'll check if it has value or no. Cool. Now next column is, after this, is published or not, the published status. So for that we'll have a condition here again. So we'll apply if condition, if post dot is published. If this is true, then do something. If it is not, then do something. Okay, if it is published, we'll add a span with class text success, which indicates green color. We'll say yes. And if it is not published, we'll say no in red color. So that means the text danger, this bootstrap class. Okay, and after this we have the last column, which is for action. So in action we'll have edit action, right? So let me have this, because we know this is not going to be null. Th, this action here we'll have our edit post link. Okay, cool. That page does not exist yet. When that page will be there, then we'll add that link here. Now the logic for this is done. Let's check if we can see it. Stop and run. The app is here. Let's see. Manage blog posts, loading blog posts, and after 3 seconds no posts found. Let me refresh it again so that you can see it in action. Loading blog posts and no posts found. That means both of those functionalities are working. So we had is loading true, then we had this delay, and when it was loading, then it said loading blog posts, and when the this await done, we did not have any value, then this no post found, this message was there. Okay, so this thing is working. Now let's quickly add the blog post service so that we can fetch the blog post. For now we will not have any blog post because we have not implemented the add blog post functionality, but let's have the blog post service now. So we have a services folder. In services we have user service, we have category service. Now we'll have another four blog posts. So let's say blog post service. Okay, let's move it to its own class, and here in the constructor we'll have our db context, which is blog context. Okay, now let's say public async task blog post enumerable of blog post, and we'll say get blogs, or let's say get posts async tool. And let's not have any condition right now. We'll add conditions later when we need them. For now, let's say await context dot blog posts dot as no tracking. We don't need tracking. Did we set no tracking on db context label? Let me check in data blog context, and we did not set, right? Okay, so as no tracking, and then we'll say to list async. For now we are loading all the blog posts, but we'll implement paging later. Okay, now we have this. Let's register this blog post service. So in program.cs we must be registering our services at transient user service category service, and let me copy this, and we'll register our blog post service. So I'm having concrete services. If you want to implement maybe some for testing purpose basically, or making it loosely coupled, you could have one interface, then you could register those, but for the simplicity I'm not using interface. Cool, now we will simply inject this in the manage blogs page. So inject blog post service, and what convention I'm using property conventions. So let's have blog post service only, and when I'm loading this I'll say await blog post service dot get post async, and I'm going to add this directly here. Cool, remove this, we don't need this now, and we should be good now. We'll handle exceptions later. Cool, so this thing is working, this thing is fine. We have this blog post service and everything is in place. Next thing, we are going to work on this add new blog post section, right? And let's say in this post, in this thing no post found, let's add a class text center, and here also let's add this text center. And after this no posts found, let's say first thing, let's make it bolder, and then on this edge let's have some margin bottom, and after that let's have a link to the, we don't have that link now, but we'll say create blog post link. Here we'll say create first blog post, right? And this th, the last one, let's have this same thing on this add new blog post. Okay, here we are fine. We are using button approach, or we can change it, right? Yeah, let's change it to nav link only, and we'll add these classes here and add new blog post. Add new blog post. Fine. Add new blog post. Let's remove this. After this, we will have similar thing in the last TD, this added post link. So here let's say added blog post link, and here the text will say edit. Cool. Save it and let's see if we can see this new design. Let's run. App is here, manage blogs. We are here. No post found, create first blog post. We can click on it. For now it will result in that not found exception, but we can see this things are working. Okay, so that's all for this video. In the next part we will work on this add and edit blog post page. So please like this video if you like my content, share this video and subscribe my channel. I'll be back with the next part very soon. Bye bye.